It is time now for the In the Arena segment of Total Maine. And on the podcast this week, you're talking about President Trump's tax and spending plan. This is dubbed, say it all at one here, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It's fun to say. What can we expect with the discussion of the podcast this week?
Well, there's so much jammed into this bill, as often happens on budgets. There are important monetary issues, such as cutting Medicaid spending and extending tax cuts. There are things about not letting states regulate artificial intelligence for 10 years, things that have nothing to do with budgets. So, Phil, I would ask you, overall, as this comes to the Senate, is it a good thing or a bad thing for Maine?
Well, I think the optics from the president are, I'm doing what I said in my election campaign. I'm keeping the tax relief in place. I'm securing the border. I'm getting rid of unnecessary spending in the Medicaid program. So optically, it plays well, but I think for Maine and in particular the nation, this does not do what we need to do to get our fiscal house in order. The budget is going to be not balanced, and the debt's going to grow. The interest on the debt is going to climb. We've got to reverse this trend.
Ethan?
Yeah, look, 2 months ago, we both heard him say in his inaugural address to Congress, I am going to balance the budget. Well, this is as far from balancing the budget as we've ever seen a budget bill come forward. And so for that reason, it's going to be very detrimental to the country. But I think, for Maine itself, 50,000 people we're talking about losing health care in Maine, people losing food stamps. And look, it's not just the optics, it's the reality of when you're taking away health care and food from people who need it, and giving tax breaks to people who don't, that is bad optically and that is bad economically. So, yeah, this is not a good idea. Let's hope it doesn't pass.
For Republicans like Senator Susan Collins, who are now weighing whether or not they're going to support this, what's at stake for them, especially she's likely going to seek re-election next year?
Interesting. Look, if you ask Maine people, do you think there should be more health care? Do you think we should be balancing the budget, blowing out the budget based on tax cuts for the wealthy? I think most people would say no, but I think her biggest risk, and the reason she'll probably not stand up and have the courage, is because I think if she is the vote against this bill, Republicans will come down on her in a way.
If she be the deciding vote?
If she was the deciding vote in this, she might vote against it if she's not the deciding vote. She might vote against it if it's, if it's going to go down anyway. But I don't think she's going to be the deciding vote on this.
Moving on to our next topic here, State Auditor Matt Dunlap is still considering a challenge to Congressman Jared Golden. He confirmed that he received a call recently from the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee suggesting maybe he shouldn't challenge Golden. When Golden announced his candidacy formally, a release also showed support from leading Democrats like House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. This is something that staffers for former Governor Paul LePage have noticed. A spokeswoman for the National Republican Committee reached out to us, accusing National Democrats of putting their finger on the scale long before the general election. Ethan, to borrow a term from your podcast, is this something or is it nothing?
Well, yes, it's something. And is the National Party putting their finger on the scale? Of course, right? That's what the National Party does for both parties. Paul LePage gets in the race. Within 2 days, Austin Terrio saying, I'm not going to run again. Don't you think that he probably got, other than seeing he was likely going to lose, probably got some phone calls from people saying, hey, we don't want a contested primary. We want to win this race. So is Dunlap getting some of that pressure nationally? I'm sure. But he needs to he needs to decide what he wants to do for himself, for his family, and what he thinks is good for the country. And he should make that. And I think he will. I don't think he's going to bow to pressure either way.
Is it all surprising, though, that leadership within the party doesn't want to consider their options to see if there's someone that will be more in lockstep with their vision than Jared Golden?
Look, I think the political wisdom is you go with the horse you got, right? You get on there. Jared Golden has won this race over and over again. They see him as their strongest option. I think primaries are actually good. They often do strengthen candidates. Sometimes they divide and make a mess, but sometimes they do strengthen candidates. So I think, again, he needs to make the decision. Dunlap needs to make the decision for himself, and I think he will.
All right. Another candidate entering the race for the Blaine House, Republican Jim Libby, announces that he's running for governor. Phil, energy development seems to be a major part of his platform, including nuclear power. What should Republican voters know about Jim Libby, and do you think that he's going to find significant support?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how much energy and enthusiasm he garners. I served with Jim in the state Senate. He serves even today. He has a doctoral in education. He's been a university professor at Colby and Thomas and St. Joe's. So he has a well-grounded understanding of Maine's education system and an understanding of our economic challenges relative to energy. It's going to be interesting to see, Terry, can he transfer all that experience to Main Street, Maine, and earn the support?
There's no chance he can win. He actually released issue papers already. I'm like, what is this? He's like the only guy who's got 7 different policy positions already. I'm like, Jim, what are you doing?
Our final topic today, and this was a little more speculative. The Mills administration rolled out a new campaign recently aimed at welcoming Canadian visitors. There's going to be signage at border crossings in popular tourist locations like Old Orchard Beach. This coming in response to fears that fewer Canadians might be vacationing in Maine this summer due to tariffs and remarks from President Trump. Look ahead to the end of the summer season when we get to Labor Day. What are your expectations here? Do you think the business owners in some of those coastal communities are going to ultimately notice a big change that's impacting their bottom line?
We've seen numbers already from the first quarter of this year that show border crossings from Canada into Maine down substantially, about 100,000 people, Ethan.
Yeah, we do, and I expect that probably will continue. I mean, obviously, it's also been very rainy, so you can't just say that it's about the relations. It might just be about rainy weather, but it does seem like the trend, unfortunately, is going in that direction because of how antagonistic Trump has been towards Canada. And I also think because of the immigration policies, there are real concerns about what happens. Is my visa really, good? Am I going to get there and then he's going to send me back? International students, HB2 visa folks, they're like, hey, I might make this whole trip and then be sent home, or even worse. So I do think it's a problem.
I think you have to look at the seasonality of these statistics, right? Not many people are going to Old Orchard Beach in February and March.
In that particular footage where you don't see leaves on the trees, it doesn't look like the best.
The pier fry stand isn't open. So,
And I empathize with Canadians who maybe live near a border town like Houlton. They're saying, I'm not going over there to buy my groceries or my gas or my clothes, based on the Trump administration. So I think there's a lot of that baked into the statistics we're talking about right now. But we also have the currency rate exchange, which is way out of balance. But I think you're going to find when we have this conversation in the fall, Old Orchard Beach and other popular spots that the Canadians enjoy will be here.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Remember, new episodes of In the Arena drop every Thursday. You can watch at our website, WMTW.com, YouTube, or listen wherever you get your podcasts.